All right, guys, so we're back in the home garage here today for a fun little how-to, and it's one that I've taken a little bit of grief for, right? It's all in fun, obviously, but the first situation is, why don't I have the headlight mod done on this 91 Vert GT, where I can run like my fog lights with just my marker lights, and you don't have to have your headlight switch turned on in order to run your fog lights. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. And two is, why don't you have LED bulbs in your fogs? And the other actually side story I get asked quite often is, where can I get LED fog lights? Okay, so I'm gonna help you out on both those. I had Chris over at the Infamous Project tag me up with where I can track some down. I haven't got them put in yet, but he's used them before, so I assume there's not gonna be any issue. Anyway, I'm gonna get the fog lights tore out of this. We'll get them on the bench, and I'll show you how to swap these bulbs over, and then we'll do the headlight mod.
Stop!
In addition to all this, I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a bit of a comparison between how much amperage the OEM style filament bulbs draw versus how much amperage the aftermarket LED bulbs draw. In theory, LED bulbs just by nature draw less amperage than an OEM filament style bulb. However, these new LED bulbs are advertised as being 100, 200, sometimes 300 times brighter, which tends to mean that they've got a higher amperage draw. Anyway, I don't know if there's going to be any difference. I'm hoping that there's less of a draw from the aftermarket LEDs, but I'll get a before reading and we'll flip everything over, do an after reading, and we'll see for ourselves. All right, guys, so here's the current draw with the stock OEM filament fog light bulbs installed. Right, so fog lights are out. Here are the LED bulbs I've bought. They're called Oxlight. They're an H3 LED fog light. I bought them off Amazon. They're not paying me to talk about this. I bought them with my own money. 300% brighter. Well, more brighter, which I don't think's really proper speaking English, but nonetheless. So here they are. And now I've popped one of the stock bulbs out for you, just to give you a view of how they compare. They're maybe a little bit taller, but I don't think that's going to cause us any issues. So yeah, it's just a matter of swapping them over here at this point, which is pretty straightforward. So you pop your little clip out of here. And you unplug it. Now you want to try to keep this heat wire in here. This stuff here, so swap that over to your new bulbs. And from that point, it's plug and play. These lights ground to the housing, so leave your ground done up. Put your spring back on. Okay. Rinse and repeat for the other side. And we'll see what we're dealing with. So as I got doing the other fog light, I realized that this one, for some reason, has a little bit of a clearance issue. The bulb's a little bit too tall. Now, it doesn't stop me from mounting it in there and getting the spring clip back on, but it does bump into, there's a little reflective housing inside of these fog lights, and it's bumping into that ever so slightly. So you can see there's a little bit of movement in there. It doesn't sit flush inside of this housing. So take that for what it's worth. I didn't have the issue on the other one. I don't know, maybe this one lens is just set up a slight bit different than that one with a little bit different clearance. But anyway, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm going to run with it. The bulb's in there, not coming out. So just thought I'd let you know if you run into the same situation.
Stop! Here we go!
All right, let's see how we did.
Here we go! Here we go!
Not bad. So now the thing we gotta do, as you can see, my marker lights and fog lights will not come on together. I gotta have the headlights on to have the fog lights on. So let's get after fixing that up. Okay, so before we get after this headlight mod, let's just cross-reference what our amperage draw is after the LED swap. Well, that's a crazy difference right there. Holy smokes. Like a 1/10 of the draw. Okay, so here's what we're dealing with. I've got this add a fuse circuit, okay, with a blade connector on the back end. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna rob this fuse out of here, which is radio. And we're gonna stuff that fuse in here so we keep the radio circuit. Now, I guess I should say, guys, you know, do all of this at your own risk, obviously. I think that goes without saying, but, you know, I'd hate to mess up one of your cars. I mean, I know my car and I know what the radio is all about. I got the stock OEM radio with Bluetooth added into it, so I'm not too worried about the current draw that's coming through here and or overpowering this radio circuit. But anyway, and then you pull your fog light fuse, and we're gonna bounce that guy into this ADA circuit. So now I got two 15s in there, and I'm gonna jump into my radio circuit. And then I'm gonna bounce this jumper wire into my fog light circuit on the front half here. And we're gonna see what we're dealing with. Moment of truth. Hey-o. Now that's a look. That's 90s right there. 150% 90s. Okay, and one final little touch here if you want to go over the top like I am, but if you want to maintain that OEM look and have your fuse box cover still in place, just take yourself like a knife of some sort and set of needle nose pliers, and you can kind of carve out an area for that ADA fuse to sit in. I mean, this is all the material that came out of there. And then that way you can maintain that original OEM look. All right, folks, well, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for tagging along. I hope this helped you out. Again, I don't want to be responsible for, you know, mixing up your car or whatever. I don't want to be held liable. So tackle this at your own risk, please, okay? Now, I know there's many different ways to accomplish this whole marker light, fog light modification. And there's actually safer ways of like putting a relay shy of the headlight switch, because these OEM Foxbody headlight switches are known for heating up and melting and causing people all kinds of grief. I get all that, so please don't light me up in the comments. This is just the easiest down and dirty way I know of doing it. And after seeing the difference in amperage draw that I got from the OEM fog lights to the LED fog lights, I'm satisfied with my own car that I'm not gonna overpower that headlight circuit case. So anyway, there's my disclaimer. Thanks a lot for tagging along, guys. Any questions or comments you may have, please hit me up. I love helping you out. So thanks very much. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye for now.